Okay, so when doing a self-portrait, what you will need is a large printout of your face and then a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, a ruler, and a pencil, a regular pencil. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the picture of yourself and you're going to use your ruler starting at the top left-hand corner here. I want you to line up your ruler starting at the 0 right here, and I want you to put a mark every time there's an inch. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, for 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I realize that it doesn't go perfectly to 9, which is totally fine. Just leave it the way it is. Now, what you're going to want to do is flip it over to this side and do the same thing to the other side, but that is not what you do. No, after you have your lines drawn at the top, you just go straight down. Because if you end up flipping it, you throw the whole thing off. And if the grid is off by just a little bit, you've ruined the whole thing and you'll have to start over. Okay, so once you have your lines drawn at the top, just go straight down. Okay? And I want you to do the same thing at the bottom where you line it up, starting at the 0 right here, and then 1, 2, and be very careful. If it moves, make sure you readjust it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then I want you to turn it to the other side. We're going to do the same thing, starting at the 0, going all the way to the 11. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're holding your ruler steady so it doesn't move. If it moves, you have to stop and readjust it. And you can take your time on this. I want you to take your time on this. And remember, you're not flipping it over. Okay, you're going straight down. Okay, and you're readjusting it back to where the 0 is at the end. 11. Okay, so once you get to this point, I want you to connect the lines together. So use your ruler, and you can make these very dark. These can be as dark as you need them to be. In fact, if you want to, you can even use a pen to draw it in on this one, if that'll help you see it better. But when you put it on the sheet of paper, you have to use a pencil. And then we're going to turn it over, and we are going to do the exact same thing. So this is what it should look like when you are done. You should have a grid and all the boxes should be the same size except for this last little row, which is half boxes, which is totally fine. But the rest of the boxes need to be exactly the same size, and if they're slanting on the page, then you've done something wrong. So I like to put a little star on the left-hand corners of each just so you won't get confused and do it the wrong way. So you know that all you have to do is line up the stars, and this is upright, and obviously this is upright. Okay, so instead of going through and measuring out this sheet of paper just like this one, which you can do, that's totally fine, but an easier way is just to line it up, remember, star to star, line it up perfectly. So if it's like this, it's not okay. You got to line it up perfectly. And then draw in the lines that you have already drawn. That way you know it will be exactly the same measurement. And both of these have to be exactly the same, or once again you'll have to redo it. So now we can go to the side, keep the stars lined up. Alright, so once you have your grid drawn on both, they should be exactly the same measurements and everything. Even if they look slightly off, come talk to your teacher, whether that be me or a sub or whoever, and just make sure that they approve of your grid before you get started, okay? So once you get to this point, what I want you to do is at the top here and here, I want you to number it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You don't have to number it, but this does make it easier. And then you do the same thing going down. 1, 2, 3. And you do the same thing to this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Once you've got to this point, what I want you to start doing is you just go box to box, okay? And I typically like to start with the actual outline of the face. So let's start right here, which is 3, 6. So you come over here and find 3, 6. So this box is the same as this. And if you're looking at that box, it looks like your face comes up about right here, down here, because that hair kind of gets in the way. And then we're going to move down to this box. So it looks like it cuts right in the middle here and goes down to about right here. That's where the hairline goes, okay? And now we're at this box, which is 5, 7, 5, 7, and you just have to keep making sure you're going in the right box, okay? And then 6, 7, which does the same thing, goes down this way. 7, 7. And notice I'm just following this line right through here, and I'm going box to box, and I'm taking my time. And notice now in 8, 7, right here, it curves, and it ends about right here. Okay, so it's going to curve about like there, and it just barely touches this box right here. And then it goes into this box. And now we're in 9, 4, 9, 4. Just make sure you're still going by the boxes, and then we're barely touching 8, 4 right here. Barely touching it. And then we're going through this box, through this box. And then we're now at this box where it looks like the hair, once again, kind of gets in the way. So it covers up this box. Now we're at the hair. We're at 5, 4. Now we're at 4, 4. The hair covers up a good portion of that box, and it goes to the edge here, and then it connects there. So that is just the outline of the face, and as long as you are following this grid, you should have a very accurate size of how your face should look. Now, if you look back and your face is rounder, or if it's just a lot bigger, you've probably messed up somewhere with your counting. So just make sure that you go through and make sure just everything is lined up. And then, of course, I'm going to want you to work on the facial features, like the eyes, eyebrows, nose. And so I'm just going to do the nose real quick, or part of the nose. So if you're looking here, 7, 4 is where the nose starts, right here. And you can even draw it in a little bit if you can't see it very well. So I'm going to draw in this line so I can see where the curve of my nose starts. So 7, 4, 7, 4 right here. It looks like it's at the very corner, so it starts about right here. Okay. And then it kind of curves up. I've got that nostril that kind of comes in about right here, and then it rounds up. And the other side of the nose is right here, so I know that it ends. It almost touches that line, but it doesn't. So it does something like that. I've got my nostril there. So that is just the start of the nose here. Okay. And then, you know, it kind of looks like it curves up. And never draw a line right here, because this isn't a line, this is shading. And so what you would do is you'd figure out where this dark space is right here and just shade it in. Okay. And I like to use my finger to kind of blend it. And you can use your eraser to go in and just add the lighter space where it needs to be. Okay, so this is just a start. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but I do want you to draw it like I have shown you. So any time that you put in an eye, a nose, any line at all, make sure it's in the exact same box. And you'll have to do that by counting, okay? But once you get everything drawn in, I do want to see shading. So if you look at your face, and you can even use your pencil to go in and figure out where the darker marks are. So as you can see, this right here is darker, and then I've got this area that is lighter, right? And the top part above my lips is going to be lighter. So I just like to go through and circle all the light areas and the dark areas to kind of divide them and see where I need to add shading. Okay, and the whole top of my forehead is going to be light. And you can always use your eraser if you have shading to kind of make it look lighter. Same thing with hair. If you like color in the hair, make some areas darker, and then you go through with an eraser and lighten up the spaces that you want to be highlighted. Okay, so when you get done, you should have a very accurate version of what your face should look like. Once you think that you are done, you've got everything drawn, you got it approved by your teacher, you're going to take an eraser and try to lightly erase all these lines that you've created in your grid, and then you should be done. All right, thank you. Good luck.